The four Americans being held by Iran include the Washington Post reporter Jason Rezaian, Christian pastor Saeed Abedini, the former U.S. Marine Amir Hekmati, and retired FBI agent Robert Levinson. They're all American citizens being held in Iran right now. I'm joined by Democratic Congressman Dan Kildee. He's represented the Hekmati family in the U.S. Congress. Also joining us is David Levinson, Robert Levinson's son. To both of you, thanks very much for joining us. Congressman, let's begin with you. Are you hopeful that as a result of this deal, Amir Hekmati, the other Americans, will be released?
I'm hopeful because I think Iran has to understand that for the world, the American people, and frankly the U.S. Congress, really consider the merits of this agreement. They need to take a step toward the global community in one very tangible way for them to demonstrate their seriousness on this matter and any other is to release the innocent Americans that they hold. So I think it is an opportunity for us to call upon Iran to take that step, and I hope that they carefully consider that.
Do you support this deal, Congressman?
I'm going to weigh the merits of the deal. I think I'll measure it based on whether I think it makes the world a safer place. I think Secretary Kerry's done a remarkable job of getting us to this place. But I can't erase from my mind, when considering the deal, Iran's other behaviors, and of course that includes the fact that they continue to hold the Americans. It's not something that I think needs to be conflated, but I'll consider it very carefully. And I call on other members of Congress to consider the deal, not their own press releases, but the actual deal itself when measuring its value.
Is it fair to say, Congressman, that if Amir Hekmati, the other Americans, are released, the President of the United States will have your vote?
Well, my vote will be based on whether I think the agreement makes the world a safer place. The legitimacy of the agreement will be in part affected by Iran's other behavior, but I have had to force myself to separate the issues. We don't want to trade the freedom of these Americans for something at the negotiating table, and I think it would be dangerous to conflate the two. But it's true that Iran has to be measured by all of its behavior. But I'm generally supportive, but I'm going to wait and see the full analysis.
David, your father is the longest held American in Iran. What's your reaction to this deal that was announced today?
Well, we desperately want my father home. It's been 8 years, and even one more day is too long without him. What we believe is that this deal is not the end of discussions between the Iranian government and the United States government, but merely the beginning. And hopefully that this leads to my father's case being a priority and being at the center of discussions from here on out. It needs to be a priority, and they need to work together to bring him home.
This program, David, is being seen not only here in the United States, but around the world, including inside Iran right now, at least to some selected people over there. What's your message to the leadership in Iran?
Well, I would say that please, just on a humanitarian basis, please help us to find my father, to bring him home. My family is not political. We have no agenda beyond just finding my dad and making sure that he can live the rest of his life out in peace with my family and other loved ones.
Congressman, how's Amir Hekmati's family dealing? I don't know if you had a chance to speak with him today.
I spoke with his sister, Sarah Hekmati, very early this morning, and obviously they're very tense. There's a lot of anxiety right now, but there's some reason to be hopeful, and we're just trying to hold on to that. Hopefully this is, as David Levinson said, the beginning of fruitful discussions. If it makes the world a safer place, maybe it also encourages Iran to take other steps that would bring them into the international community.
So what's your message to the Iranian leadership?
Well, that if they want Congress to take them seriously, there are other things they can do. And I'm very focused on release Amir Hekmati, release Saeed Abedini, release Jason Rezaian, give us all the information and help us find Robert Levinson. If they do that, that would make a difference in terms of the way the world sees them.
One final question, David. Do you have any indication that your dad is still alive?
Well, several years ago, we received that video of him that was basically a hostage video, and then a few months later, we received photos of him in the orange jumpsuit. Up until that point, people had told us that he had passed on and that we needed to move on, but my father proved that he is resilient, and I know him as the most dedicated, resilient, and determined person I've ever known. There is no doubt in my mind that he is there, that he's waiting for us, and that the United States and Iran can work together to bring him home. Where there's a will, there's a way, and the two countries can work together to make that happen.
David Levinson, thanks very much. We hope you're reunited with your dad very, very soon. Congressman Kildee, thanks very much for joining us. Thanks for keeping this issue alive.
Thanks.
I know the Hekmati family, all the Americans who are being held in Iran right now are very grateful to you.
Thank you.